Very good day, everybody. Welcome to another video. I am your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko, and I will be your captain for today's flight. Today will be something interesting, well, at least for me, because we're flying the Fokker F28 by Just Flight, which is a really old school type aircraft. We'll be flying that VOR to VOR route from Calgary in Canada to Seattle, Tacoma International Airport in the United States of America. I believe it will be about a 1.5 hour flight or so, maybe a little bit longer. And since the aircraft is fairly old and it is not equipped with modern type GPS and everything, so we will have to rely on traditional navigation, such as VOR to VOR, and that could become a bit of a challenge for me, but that's why we do it. It's an interesting adventure. It is a very beautiful aircraft, if you ask me, and I have not flown it very much yet, so I'm not even rusty. I'm even below rusty, because I'm not really experienced with the aircraft yet. I've flown it sort of a little bit, but I felt like, why not just do it live in front of millions of viewers. And no, but all kidding aside, just figured, let's just do it and put some pressure on it, and mostly just have some fun and explore and see what's going to happen. So I created a little flight plan out of Calgary, and I will show you that in a second. I just want to point your direction to the icy conditions here in Calgary, because as you can see, the nose of the aircraft is starting to freeze. The frame around the windows of the cockpit is starting to freeze. I believe, if I see correctly, so is the leading edges of the wings. Let me see if I can move the camera a little more subtly. Look at that, poor sucker. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. There's some icing visible on the engine here, on the right engine, and I'm expecting to see some on the other engine, obviously, as well. So there's definitely some de-icing to be done. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. My initial thought is just get in there, power it up, turn up the heat, and and the anti-ice and stuff, and just see if it goes away. Not sure if this is any kind of hazard or something if you were to do this, but obviously in real life there's some de-icing procedures, but I'm not sure, so just figured let's just do it. So let me quickly show you the flight plan that I had in mind. These are the VORs with all the frequencies, but for now let's have a look at the flight plan like this. So we will take off here in Canada from Calgary Airport International. I will be flying for 126 nautical miles, a heading of 208, or actually a radial of 208 towards the next VOR, which is this little sucker right here, Cranbrook 112.1, and basically, and so on. We'll take us to the next one and to the next one. The aircraft is equipped with two VOR nav radios, so you can basically put VOR 1 in nav 1, VOR 2 in nav 2, and then VOR 3 in 1, and VOR 4 in 2, and so on, and then all the way until we reach Seattle here. Now for the approach, I believe, let's check the weather. It should say here 170 to 12 knots. So this will be a landing on runway 16 There's 3 runways here, 16 left, center and right. So, I don't know, let's just choose one, the longest I guess. So 16 left. So I will try to fly a ILS approach once we get there. Red Sox at Mariners. There's a baseball game. Game begins at 2:10 Zulu. We'll be live in 1 hour 43 minutes. Well, basically, by the time we should arrive, there should be some match going on in the stadium. Not sure why they're telling us this. Probably it's a no-fly zone. Looking at it. So anyway, there is the that's the flight plan. I have no clue how this is going to work out. I downloaded the sort of simplified checklist. Do not mean that degrading by any stretch of the imagination. Actually, it is actually the opposite. It's by another flight sim streamer called Jonathan Beckett, and he's provided us, the community, with a very interesting, easy to comprehend or easy to follow checklist. And so we'll just be following his checklist to get the aircraft started. Now, let me also quickly show you the nav log. So if we want to know the frequencies, we got them right here. So this is our top of climb, there's a top of descent. So we will be cruising at altitude of flight level 240, 24,000 feet. And I put in some speed, 285. I'm not really sure what our speed is actually going to be. I'm not very much experienced with this aircraft yet, but I guess that's part of the fun. You know what I mean. So here we are then. So let's just hop on it and see what's going to happen. Now the first thing I don't want to probably not have to show you as such. Oh, it's a little changeover. Not sure how it's going to work out on the stream. Yeah, you get the black screen and then your seat frees up again. Okay, well, there you go. So this is the situation now. The aircraft is like, the windows are completely unusable. And you can actually see the icing effects, which is, if you ask me, really cool. It just adds a lot to the experience, I mean, just looking at it, like getting just shivers all over your spine, all along your spine. So yeah, we're gonna see in a little bit what that's going to do for us. I'm gonna leave you for a second with the external view, because I will definitely need to get a little drink. So we'll be right back. So stand by and enjoy the view of the beautiful Fokker F28. Okay, see you again. Later I might need to step out for a little bit as well and get my guitar out of the gig bag. I had a little, very little gig earlier this evening, so I might play a little guitar. Okay, so let's just jump back in, check the windows. So I have the checklist right here. So the pre-flight, let's have a look. Okay, so you start with the overhead panel. You can also press Control 8 and just to take you there, right on the money. And in the electrical power section, you turn on the battery. So that's this section right here. Just turn on the battery and let's get some juices flowing. So that's the first step. You can hear the aircraft starting its systems. And I must say, beautiful sounds as well in this aircraft. It's a beautiful aircraft. Now on the overhead panel, APU section, the main goes to on. It's this one. And then the air conditioning, the left main to on. That will be this one right here. This is air conditioning section. Main. It's complete. Thank you. Main switch to on. Then the APU section, so basically ensure 10 seconds has elapsed since APU main was turned to on to wait for the door to open. And I believe the door that they're referring to, let's use the other camera here for a second. Thank you very much. Oh, hello. I guess that will be us. So I believe the APU, let's just check it out because I'm not really sure. I believe the APU door should be right here. Although I'm not really sure how this works, but it looks messy. So I don't know, I guess perhaps we could try and close it and see what that's going to do. But let's just carry on for now. But it will take some time for the sucker to open. So then you press the APU start button, which is this round button right there. And then you monitor the RPM section, so that's right here, and the turbine gas temperature. And the RPM should go to 100% RPM. And the start light is extinguished. So once this needle reaches 100, you can turn on generator 3. So now we are getting internal power. And then the bleed air, where's the bleed air that goes on? It's this one right here. So on the center pedestal, you turn on the master radio, 1 and 2. Turn them to both to the on position. These little threads right there. Then go back to the overhead, and there's the emergency exit lights. Where were they again exactly? That's this one. So you arm the emergency exit lights. Windshield heating, so this is going to be interesting to see how things are going to progress, because right now we don't see shit from Shinola. So let's get some windshield heating engaged. So it says if the outside air temperature is less than 20 degrees Celsius, then both left and right should be set to the low position. This section right here, the windshield heating, we're going to set them to the low position. I would, judging the weather, I would assume we should put them on high. But well, it is below 20 degrees Celsius. Let's just start with this for now, before we break anything. Cabin altitude, you set the cruise altitude, that is here next to the windshield heating. So the cabin pressure is going to be flight level 240, so we can just switch that to 24. You see the little section right here. So I guess this should then be it. Let's see, yeah, 24, it should be fine. The eyebrow panel, no smoking, and the fasten seatbelt signs, they are right here. Let's first, this is actually a really cool aircraft. Hopefully it's not too laggy. Okay, so the door is open, so we can hear the cabin announcements and everything. Let's have a look here, little excursion, because they modeled some things really cool. They just opened the door, for instance, so you can open the door. I'll show you that in a second. And this little panel right here is fully modeled. You can play some music for boarding. Let's turn that on. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? And I believe you can actually, well, at least simulate it that you call the flight deck and everything. I'm not really sure how that works. There should be a little, but there should be some little light turning on there when you call the flight deck. There's probably some little entry light. And how do we open this Fokker? It's on the top here. Obviously it's going to get really cold inside now. So there's our little airplane. It's freezing cold here, and they got the door open. So let's just close that up. Oh, there's something else. So you have these little extended stairs, but there's also an option to hook the aircraft up to the jetway, and then it will do the following, as you can see in the animation here. And now you can hook it up to one of those jetways. So that's all. It's a lovely detail. It's so cool that they do this. You know, it's what we want to see. It's what we want to do. It doesn't make any kind of sense. It's just cool. You know, just like, why does everybody want to be able to open the doors and open the windows? You know, just because you can. So that's the reason enough. All right, so let's close up the door now, because I'm getting just cold by looking at it. You can even change the music volume. So let's turn it off for now, and let's just move on back into the flight deck here. The seats can be placed into position as well. Where is the sweet spot? That's right there. And there goes Mike. Hey Mike, how are you doing, man? Nice of you to join us. So let's just first sit down here in the seat then, like something like this, and see if we can move ourselves forward. So there you go. Alright, well, so here we are then. So where were we? Oh yeah, the no smoking lights and the fasten seatbelt signs. I believe this triggers some audio, not really sure. Doesn't seem to do so. Alright, no worries. So moving forward. So now we go to the master control panel, the MCP, and we turn on the nav radio section. So nav 1 and nav 2, they both go to the on/DME mode. You'll find these little buddies right here. So just switch them on the little turning knob to DME, and they are now on. And obviously you can just change the frequency. We'll do that in a bit. So look, flight director, that's in the center. This is an interesting flight director. Basically this knob, the pitch command, it allows you to, if I'm saying this correctly, it allows you, if you look over here, I'm not really sure if it's not doing anything yet, probably have to turn it on or something. So let's just carry on, we'll explain that in a little bit. Basically what I want to say is you turn the knob and the flight director will move up, but the aircraft will not. So the autopilot will not follow the pitch command, will not follow the flight director. Basically it is, I guess it's for like a visual reference. Basically that's all. So it says here the mode selector, put that to heading. So this is the mode selector, this button right here. You can put it to heading, VOR lock, glide slope auto, glide slope manual. Not really sure what these mean, or what the manual means in SC. Not really sure what that is. Just get a little sip here. Smoking and talking the whole time. Getting a little bit dried up here. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so this, yeah, look, we turn it off. There goes the little yellow flight director. What's the SC? Something computer? That's interesting. Okay, so for now we just follow the checklist. We put it on heading. Obviously, when we start flying VOR, we're just going to put it on VOR, and here you have the control buttons for that. So mode selector heading, heading as required. So basically you'll check the heading bug right here and you turn the knob way over here. I'm not really sure which runway actually we were going to be using here. So let us have a look at that. I believe this is the view that we want. So we are at Calgary. And the wind 3601 knots. So I'll either this runway or this runway. So I guess if we put it to the north, that should work out fine for us. So let's just wing it like that for now. So the heading bug is right there. It's actually already on the north, looking at it, so we can leave that be. Looks like the windows are definitely de-icing a little bit. This is definitely an improvement to what we had earlier. Okay, so the heading as required, pitch command. So the pitch command, so we'll see this right now. We put that to about 10 degrees. Does it say 10 degrees? Oh, of course, you don't look there necessarily, so you just switch this, turn this button, dial. And you can see here in the lower left of the screen, the yellow lines. You just put them on 10 degrees for the initial climb, I believe. So that is done. Then the course section, so set nav 1 and nav 2 courses as required. And select nav 1 or nav 2 as required. So now it's going to get interesting. We will put in the first two VORs. So let's get this little window. So the first VOR should be, let me just double check here. So we'll be taking off towards the north and take a right turn to this VOR, but it's only 5 nautical miles. Nonetheless, I believe we should do it so that we at least can try and find a fly an outbound radio, because I'm not sure it is 126 nautical miles. Whoops, until we get to the next VOR. I'm not sure how strong the signal is, so we might need to rely on the outbound radio of the Vancouver VOR, or sorry, the Calgary VOR. So yeah, this is definitely something that we're going to be entering then the frequency, we will actually use that. So this takes us then to the Yankee Yankee Charlie, so that is 116.7. Let's write this down for a second so we don't have to switch views the whole time, because while streaming that gets a little tedious. So 116.7, that will be the first, and the second Yankee X-ray Charlie, it's this one right here, will be 112.1. Now we've got this, but obviously we will also need to know the actual direction. And we just use the Sky Vector website for that. So we will fly outbound radio 126 nautical miles to a heading of 208. Well, not actually a heading, but a track of 208. So we will need to dial in 208 for the 116.7, 208 degrees. Just writing this stuff down here. And I guess for now that should be fine. The rest we'll do once we are airborne. Okay, so we're back in the flight deck here. Okay, so the first nav VOR will be 116.7. And the second one will be 112.1. Oh, that's already. Oh, that's cool. 112.1. And now for the course, we should probably, if you want to fly outbound, I'm not really sure how to tell the aircraft to fly an outbound radio. So we're just going to see what's going to happen there. Let me just think here for a second. Yeah, so to fly towards this VOR, we will, need a heading of 081. So that's going to be it. I think that's what we're going to do, 081 and 208, so it's actually the other way around. So 081 degrees. I hope you can still follow. Sometimes if there is some discrepancy between what I'm thinking and what's coming, the sounds are coming out of my mouth. I tend to not be too fluent at thinking and talking at the same time. Alright, so for 116.7 we need to fly to a heading of 081 degrees. I think what I'm also going to do then is put the heading back to 081. So 60, 70, there's 90, so around there should be 80, 81. See if we are sort of on the money there. 90. No, it can go a little bit further. Yeah, so this is stuff that's a little tedious in Microsoft Flight Simulator, or probably in any simulator for that matter. You know, you cannot be in two places at the same time. You know, you cannot put your hand there and jump and just zoom in here. So that's a little annoying. That's for the heading. We will also lay in the actual course 081, so for the nav radio to follow. And then for nav 2, and let's also select nav 1, which is actually already selected. If I select now nav 2, this light goes off and this light illuminates. So we need nav 1. And the second course will be 208. When the sounds are just awesome, man. Okay, 208, so that's been done as well. Calibrate the altimeter. What we will do for now is just we press the B button. Let's have a look. There you go. And then the heading as well. Well, actually the compass. I just press D for that. Altimeter set to initial climb altitude. Altitude pre-selected bottom right of primary instruments. And that's this one right here. Just go straight for the cruising altitude 240. There you go. On the center pedestal, we turn on the lights. The light section is divided between the left and right bit, so left and right. Here are all the lights. The nav lights, they go to on. It's the transponder mode to standby and squawk mode to Charlie. So transponder mode to standby. So here we have the A to Z transponder. Let's just get a little bit better of a camera view so you can read as well. So let's see, standby, and we go to squawk mode is Charlie. Let's just give ourselves some look at it, just some random set of numbers there. Something like 6053. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so on to the next page. So we're getting ready for engine start. Let's see, 308, 408, so there you go. Yeah, so prepare for engine start. So what do we need to do here? It says to turn to the tablet and then go to the aircraft page. You close the doors and you remove the chocks. So the tablets, the FB here to our left. And you go to the aircraft and here you can remove the chocks. You can see outside the chocks are now in place. These yellow little chocks there. So we're going to remove them. And the door is already closed. Now the engine gauges, engine thrust gauges, set thrust index, and I believe we probably need 170. Let's see examples. I checked yesterday. I was looking at the manual. So I'm not really sure. I think 170 is probably going to be safe for us. So let's just do it. It might actually be already be on 170. Which one was this again? No, it's not. It is 152. Let's put it to 170. I'm not really sure if this is going to crash us. Hopefully not. 170. Let's see. Refer to the takeoff data card. And it's this one right here. For flap configuration and rotate speeds. If we're going to, let's use flap 18. If you press this, there will be little bugs here. Let's see, if we choose another one, you can see them like dancing around, right? So we go for a flap 18 takeoff. That means that V1 and rotate will be 132 knots. Our V2 speed will be 136. Flap retraction at 153 knots, and then, well, single engine climb would be 163. We'll leave this for now. And this is the part where it's a little bit challenging for me. Things happening at the same time, and it's just something to get used to. It's a lot different than, you know, like a modern Airbus or something, you know. But that's actually a reason why it's really cool to have this, because then, you know, once you see basically the same principles at work, but, you know, in a drastically different system. At some point you'll start seeing all the similarities, and more stuff actually will start to make sense, and that's how we learn. Look at the windows, they are completely dried up, if you will. So that's good news. Mike, what do you say? Is that good news? Okay, so Mike's snobbing me again. Okay, so onwards. So click on the data card to set the V-speeds on the indicated airspeed gauges. So we've done that. Center pedestal gust lock lever should go to the removed, basically. So you put that down. That's this sucker right there. Light section. So the anti-collision lights go to top and bottom. They both go on. Anti-collision is here. Top and bottom go on. And then the booster pumps. Left booster pumps forward and aft to on, and right booster pumps forward and aft to on. Booster pumps are these ones right here, this, and this, so they go to the on position. Then the overhead panel, the engine section, starter master to on. Let's get back to the overhead panel here. And where was the engine? That's this one, I believe. And what did it say? Starter master to on. That's this one. So I think we're getting ready for the left engine start. Let me just get this in place here. Okay. Get this out of the way. You don't see all this stuff here in my personal little cockpit. Okay, so in the engine section, start selector to the right, and now let me just have a look here, because I believe he might have made a little copy-paste kind of error. The left engine should be engine number 1, so it says here number 2, so I guess that's a little error there, but start selector 2 goes to the left. This is the start selector, so we turn it to the left. There you go, something is happening. Now we monitor the engine gauges for 15 to 20% on the, where is it? Let's go down. On the HP RPM. So around 15 to 20%, once that is there, we will see HP fuel valve to start. That's in the middle, so the fuel valve should be, actually pass it. These ones, they go to the middle. And now the engine is starting up. So you monitor the engine gauges for 50% HP RPM. So that's this one here. Or 400 TGT. So it looks like the click that you heard, that we are now on engine power. So once it reaches 50 RPM there, we can go ahead and put the fuel valve all the way forward. And that should conclude engine number 1 start. So for engine number 2, we're going to do obviously the same. So let's get back here. Oops. Start engine number 2, please. So we monitor the HP RPM here. 10%. Reaching 15, on its way to 20. And then we introduce some, keep skipping that. So the fuel valve goes to the middle. So then once that reaches 50%, we'll put the right fuel valve all the way to open. You can hear The aircraft is starting really to come alive now. So fuel valve all the way up. And we should have 2 running engines. So the engines are now started. And that sort of almost concludes the checklist. We're not fully done yet. So on the overhead you go to the engine sector and section, and then you just turn off the starter master. Let's check here again. So the starter master we don't need it anymore, so that goes to the off position. The APU section, generator 3, you can turn that to off now. And then the bleed air goes to off, and the main goes to off as well. So the bleed air can be turned off and the main will be turned off as well. Air conditioning, the right main can now also go to on. It's this one here. And then the engine anti-icing, both to auto down. Let's see, where was the engine anti-icing? If you press Control 8, you should get to the overhead. Oh yeah, here's the engine anti-icing. So both go to auto, which is the down position then. Windshield heating, both to low or down. So we already have them, the windshield heating, so they are pressed down, which is the low setting. Python and vane heating, both to on. Python and vane, both to on. And then we prepare for taxi. So the flaps as required. So we have now we're going for a flap 18 degrees. And then monitor the flaps position on the co-pilot instrument panel. So let's look at that. You can see right here the flap position. So let's put the flap lever here. Put that to 18. We can watch the flaps travel right there. We set trim as required. It says typically 5 units nose up. Well, when I did this earlier, my aircraft was like shooting nose up into the sky, so I'm not really sure. It looks like these are the units, but I'm not really sure. So let's see, is there anything we can see from this end maybe? Well, at least it says nose up. Just wing it a little bit and just, you know, rather, you can always correct for it. So that is that, and then on to page 7 of 8. On the center pedestal, let's see what does it say here, external lights. So the taxi light, we can turn that on, and then you taxi to the runway, and once we get to the runway we'll extend the parking brakes. So the taxi light can go to on. The taxi light is right here. So we have taxi light now. So we should be good to go. So let's have a look outside. Watch your ears, because the aircraft is really fucking loud. Well, maybe now not so much, but once you start kicking the engine, this thing is loud. So while I'm preparing a takeoff cigarette here, let's have a look. The icing on the engines has also disappeared, and I believe also here around the leading edges of the wing. So that looks like it's in good condition. So we did not need any kind of anti-icing or any de-icing, I should say. But yeah, look at it, man. It's a beautiful old school aircraft. And I remember in the FSX period, or maybe even Flight Simulator 2004, before FSX, I used to have this DC-9. It sort of resembles this, obviously, and you know, it being the older Flight Simulator, there were not necessarily a lot of functions, and around that time I was never buying any aircraft like BMDG or stuff. But these guys were already making them. But nonetheless, the aircraft that I did have, the some freeware DC-9, I just loved it. It looked, he had this nice greenish paint on the inside, which I believe is actually the ground layer of paint in aircraft. You can also see sometimes so some of the aircraft have it modeled in the flight simulator, where around edges or around positions where pilots touch it, the surface around certain buttons a lot, then the paint sort of scratches away. And what you will sometimes see is that you will see some green coming through. So it might actually be this, not really sure. That actually looks more like it's painted on, but it is something that you can sometimes see like around these kind of things, although I do not see it myself here, but you know, these you might see some green coming through, and that's basically the base layer. And those details are just really cool. Let's see. So yeah, we do have a tablet, but we do not have any flight plane or anything. And the fuel, actually, I have no clue. So we'll see that. Hopefully we do not run out of fuel. Where are the fuel gauges actually in this aircraft? With oil, fuel, temperature, oil temperature, oil pressure. I cannot really read what it says there. It looks like RPM, and with this as well. So I think that's RPM. And do we have fuel quantity? There you go. Well, honestly, no clue. There are some engine instrument lights, so let's turn on some of the lights actually. It's always nice. Not sure if I found all the lights yet, or actually I think I should. I think actually I had. Was there any other lighting switches for here? I do not believe so. Now, I did notice when it gets a little bit dark, you can just turn on the storm light. And there you go. It's like really crazy bright. Now you have your radio section. Use the radios. We will not be using the radios at all today. We're not on the VATSIM. I did try them out yesterday just to see if they worked. And they did. Not really sure what the testing is supposed to be doing. So let's just forget about that. So yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, let's open up the simple chart here, the VFR map. And let's taxi to the runway. So after takeoff we will take a right turn heading 081 degrees to the Yankee Charlie VOR, and then we'll take another right turn to 208 degrees. But I do not think that VOR is picking up already on the nav2. We can check this. 116.7, nav1, nav2. Now the nav1 DME is listed right here. And look at it. nav2 is actually listed here. I believe I saw that here as well. So that's pretty cool. That's powerful. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. Now with regards to the taxiing, need to push back I guess let's push back facing south. So the nose to the left and the tail to the right. I'm not sure, I don't think there's a pushback function in here. You have states, you have announcements. Off-beam map, charts, aircraft, notes, settings. No, I don't believe there is a pushback here. I do have a little pushback tool. Maybe let's just use that for a bit. It's called Pushback Helper. It's a really simple, nice, straight to the point, no bullshit tool. It basically gives you a little overlay. I do not believe you can see it when streaming, but well, you're not missing anything. It's not like you're missing any kind of eye candy, but it's modeled really nicely. It's really simple, very clear. Alright, so let's release the parking brakes. And I believe this is the parking brake. Yeah, there you go. So let's call the tug. Let's look outside. Here comes our tug. So that's connecting to us. Oh, looks like that's connected there. So let's go reverse. Tug speed, let's put it around 1/3. Let's not go too fast here. And I guess we will need to help this guy. Alright, so tail to the right, nose to the left. Let's see how this is going to work out for us. And as with most of the streams that we do here on the channel, we are using real world time and real world weather. So I had no clue that it was freezing up here in Calgary. You know, it's Canada. It gets really cold there. So no real big surprises or anything. Correct a little bit like this, and then I guess we're good to go. So we can stop the pushback, we can set the parking brake and release the tug. Bye tug. Okay, so Mike, are you ready, man? Oh, I'll take that as a yes, my friend. Okay, let's check the VFR map here. We're going straight into the left. Let's go the 1, 2, the second to the left. And then we take the first to the right, I think. We follow that all the way to the south. We will reach, what's the runway designated, 35 right. So let's see if we can get there in one piece. So parking brake disengage. And let's get rolling. And yeah, you know, this is actually the easy bit. Starting it up, you know, in the end, you get used to it and just do it. The city of Calgary there in the background. The more challenging part will be the actual flying. There are some settings involved that I'm not super familiar with, like IAS. I believe the IAS function you will use that to during climb. I think what it will try is to keep the current speed to reach the set altitude. Because this aircraft does not, I believe it does not have a speed control as such. So it's not like you set it to, well, you know, just go 320 knots, you know, and then it just takes you there. It doesn't really work like that. So you will have to monitor the speeds a little bit. So let's just take it easy here on the taxi. We'll take 1 second to the right. You know what would be fun? If we set some taxi music. See if we can put this on map. Right, with some noodling there, along with the taxi music. And so we're taxiing now. Let's see, prepare for takeoff. We'll do that once we reach a runway. Looks like we're slowing down a little bit. After all, we are moving really slow. Also looks like we're probably going upslope a little bit. So we're getting ready for the right turn here. Let's get rid of the VFR map. It's a funny little lounge music playing there. Alright, so let's pick up the speed a little bit, or pick up the pace, I guess I should say. You may have noticed there is zero traffic, and that's intentional. I turned off all the traffic. You know, some eye candy for now with this streaming. With certain aircraft, this aircraft is quite heavy on my system. It's actually not too bad. I believe the Phoenix A320 is a lot more challenging for my system. Let's have a little look outside. Look at us go, man. Yes, I'm really glad that I got this aircraft. I really like it. Alright, let's go a little bit easy on the speed here. Let's go fast leave us to idle for a bit. And let's see, outside, yeah, let's take the far end of the runway. Yeah, so if you can, man, go pick up this aircraft. It's on the Just Flight website. The link is in the description to this video. It is definitely, it's a handful. For me it is, but it's beautiful. I totally love it. And I'm hoping to get, well, how do you say it? Actually to get better at it, you know? Let's go to the holding point now. Alright, so we're reaching the holding point for runway 35, right? What's the sign saying there? It's 2608. I'm not really sure. Okay, so parking brake is set. First things first, let's disengage the music there. For now, I'm going to leave the flight deck door open, just so we can hear a little bit of the cabin announcements, if there are any. Hey Mike, I'll get you some coffee later. And let's first get ourselves ready. Okay. So, prepare for takeoff, center pedestal, the autopilot damping section. The damping goes to in. You'll find it here in the lower left in the corner. The damping, oops, that is the wrong one, but it's actually okay. For the damping, turn that on. Make it a good view here. I actually printed these out today. Transponder section, so transponder mode now goes to on. It is on Charlie and it is now on, and there we have a little light. Landing and flare lights, landing and flare out lights section, landing lights to on, landing lights to extend. They are right here. The landing lights go to on and extend. Let's have a look outside. So they are on, and the strobes go to on, which is the up. position. Strobe lights, check. Weather radar, 2 on. The weather radar is this one right here. Warming up. Curious to see if there's going to be any weather on it, but it is nice nonetheless. Set the ranges required. And tilting up, it doesn't say it here I believe, but I think I like it tilting up somewhat. Range is now 10 nautical miles, so let's just go for like 200 nautical miles or so. It's probably not going to show us anything anyway. Alright, so advance throttles to 100 RPM, release the brakes and take off. Now there's some tips. Rotate to 10 degrees nose pitch up. That is where the pitch command comes in. So we already set like a manual flight director, if you will, to a pitch of 10 degrees nose up. So rotate to 10 degrees nose up, gear up and gear up or down below 200 knots, indicated airspeed. We're taking off flap 18, flaps 11 at 160 knots. That's basically this bug actually there as well. To 8 degrees at 170 knots, which is slightly further than this white bug. And 6 degrees at 180 knots. And up at 190. Now I was doing this yesterday I believe, and things went a little bit fast for me, so let's see if this at least I didn't break it, but I just indicated airspeed index in preparation for IAS autopilot mode. So that's a yellow knob, a red marker on the IAS gauge. This was a little bit confusing to me. Let's have a look. So I'm not really sure what speeds to be using for this aircraft. And what it says exactly, just indicated airspeed index in preparation for IAS autopilot mode. So basically we're telling, believe the aircraft, once we engage the IAS, to sort of maintain a certain speed while we are climbing. I guess 250 knots should probably be fine, especially when we're below 10,000 feet. Let's see, I believe there's like 3 more tips, then we take off. Note that there is no connection between the flight director pitch command and the autopilot, so the flight director is used as a guide when controlling pitch via autopilot pitch controls. Indicate the airspeed below 250 knots, 10,000 feet, landing lights off and retract below 10,000 feet. Or higher than, sorry. Yeah, that makes sense, of course. And remember to set barometric pressure above transition altitude. Alright, people. We're ready, and then the hectic bit will start when we will try and work out how to navigate the VOR. In the end, it's all the same radio navigation, same as you can do in the Cessna 172, for instance. But obviously, it's all, you know, it's in different places, and there's other things that are going on. Let's get rid of that little light there. Let's double check the altimeter. That has changed slightly. I think we're good to go. Let's also actually turn off these lights here. There we go. That's some nice ice candy there. And I did see some cabin announcement functions, although when I was playing this yesterday, it was actually doing some of them automatically. Let's see what's happening when we say seats for takeoff.
Come through, please take your seats for takeoff.
That's always cute. Okay, parking brake disengaged. is secure. I mean, look at the details, man. This little spring wire here. And I really like it. Went to engine idle a little bit too soon. I'm a little bit scared of it's a very powerful engine, so as you may have noticed, I'm a little apprehensive. I'm definitely trying to develop some sort of feel. Alright. Here we are. Parking brake is set, and I believe it said go to 100 RPM. I do want to have a little look here, see what that looks like, which one is actually directly corresponding to our inputs. That's the outer ones there, I guess. And it should start beeping in a bit. And disengage the parking brake. So let's go. So rotate. Go for about 10 degrees. Gear go up. Flap to 11. And flap to, I believe it's 8. And flaps fully up. Okay, so we are climbing. So now to self climb what? Power? Oh, okay, so we should probably see how this is going to work out. Ice detect. Okay, copy. Let's first go heading. That does not engage, and why is that? We are in heading mode. I know why, because we did not turn on the autopilot. Autopilot is now on. Go. Heading. And IAS. See how that's going to work out. Now the heading and the beam mode, I believe they sort of work together. I'll explain in a bit. So the Yankee Charlie, I believe, VOR 7.7 DME, 7.8. That's interesting. Let's have a look at that for a bit. Hopefully this is going to start counting down again. Okay, thank God. Okay, so we are to the left of the track. Let's turn on beam. And this light turns yellow. And I believe we can now basically use the heading plug to sort of get the aircraft pointed into the correct direction, basically to an intercept course, so that it can intercept. So let's have a look at the yellow light there, because it might turn green if I'm not mistaken, once it is sort of like capturing the track. But I have not really tested that yet. I've looked at it sort of, but I mean, I've noticed it sort of passively. Let's do a quick check, after takeoff check. So the gear, what the hell are the gear lights? What the hell, man? I must be getting really tired. Oh, wait, that was, there you go. The gear is up, alright. So what's going on? We're not on the track yet, so let's turn right a little bit more aggressively. As you can see, we're to the left of the track, and we're 6.3 nautical miles, so that is not a lot at these speeds. So going to the right a little more aggressively there, because we want to pick up the VOR. Otherwise we're getting quite lost, I'm afraid. So this is quite aggressive. We are now perpendicular almost. So this yellow line should start moving towards us at some stage really fast. And hopefully then the light there will extinguish. But I do not want to let the aircraft take too steep of a turn. So we are going to help it a little bit to moderate it somewhat. We have 6.3 DME. I am still hoping sort of that I will see some change there. Nav 1 is selected. I see what I should do. Probably I should put it to, there you go, put it on VOR lock. And then you see heading is still engaged, and I believe, so I actually should have done this earlier, that's my mistake. Now, you can still use the heading bar, but there you go, and they turn green, so that's good news. That's confirmed then that this is the way to intercept the VOR. So that's good news there. What is this section here again? Oh, that's the fuel flow. Alright, okay. Yeah, so we're now, let's see, 8.2 nautical miles, 8.4. So it looks like we have probably overflown VOR. What is this needle showing us? Let's see, VOR. Looks like the number 2 is actually not picking up. Let's start, this is going to be interesting. Let's start manually heading 208. And let's turn on the nav 2. This is getting a little bit laggy here. Nav 2. So that should show us here, hopefully, where we saw it earlier, the current distance to the VOR2, which we actually saw, or the second VOR I should say, which you saw earlier. It was 122 nautical miles. It was reading here, but they are now switched around. You can see the heading to 208 or the track, and the aircraft's not turning, so I'm going to press the heading button there, and that's what I mean. So it is following a heading input, but the mode selector is still actually on VOR, and it's no longer on heading. I probably can just turn it back to heading now without any problems. It's still doing a heading anyway, but I think when you have it, leave it on VOR lock and heading, it will try to well, you can sort of manually help the aircraft to steer towards the track there. Hopefully we can pick up the signal, because this is where VOR navigation gets interesting. What's our current altitude? 12,000 feet, so let's release the passengers. Retract the landing lights and the taxi lights as well. So we're not picking up the VOR at all. So it's always a little bit scary. Ice detector is something can we acknowledge it? Do we do anything? Oh, we'll see it when we crash, I guess. Let's check the speed here. We are above 10,000 feet. We are still climbing. 250, so let's go 280. We're climbing. I guess I'm sort of following what I know from the Airbus or something. It is still on IAS. Look, there's a green light, and here is our DME. Okay, so that seems to work out fine actually. So all we need to do next time is, I don't know, just be a little more precise and a little more aggressive and or assertive, if you will. Yeah, to follow the correct routing. Obviously, this was sort of an interesting challenge. I'll show you what I mean. Because what we had to do was basically like take off. So we are basically probably going, you know, flap settings and all that stuff and trimming. And if you then go to 081, you basically go this direction rather than going immediately right to here. And this 081 is actually from this point, so it should already have been like well, whatever you get then, 100 or 120, something like that. So that's the first thing. Yeah, I could probably have done that differently. But anyway, it looks like we are now getting ourselves on a 208 radio towards the next VOR, which is total 126 nautical miles from this VOR. Not sure where we are precisely. But as long as we are on the track, so we are close to the track, we are on VOR lock, and we are on heading, so let's also turn on the beam now. And you see immediately the aircraft starts compensating. It starts turning right, because as you can see on the course deviation indicator, that we are to the left of our track. So this is good news. If we keep this up all the way to Seattle, then we should be good. Going to check the speed here. It is quite constant. To me it appears a little bit on the lower side, lowish side. I cannot really tell now whether I'm engaging or disengaging it. Is that me? It doesn't look like it's changing. I have no clue whether I switch it on or off now. There's also a pitch mode. Let's try that. See what this does. It's just going to keep this pitch perhaps. And will that do anything with our speed? We do not want to go too slow, you know. It's beautiful up here, man. Hey Mike, how are you doing, man? Everything okay on your end? Alright, thank you. It's always a pleasure to fly with you, sir. Could maybe just turn this on map, just we have something fun to look at. No, not charts. There's the maps right there. So I'm trying to zoom out. Let's just give that some time, I guess. Okay, so what we're looking at now, we are requesting a 208 radio towards what was called Yankee X-ray Charlie or whatever. We're still climbing 900 feet per minute. This is good news in terms of navigation, so that's always good to see. The thin needle here, I believe, is then pointing to our previous VOR, and then it looks like the thick needle here is nav2, which we are flying now. You can see here nav2, and that's 112.0. Sorry, 112.1. Man, I'm really getting tired. And following a course of 208 degrees, which you can also see. It's getting it from this course selector here. So the aircraft doing, still climbing 900 feet per minute. Looks like the speed might be dropping a little bit. Let's get a little more close here. Let's do it like this. I believe this is actually not very high, so let's see if we can zoom in way too much here. Let's put in a little more RPM there. Let's see how that's going to work for us for the speed. And let's also try the settings. Yeah, like this. It's going to work a lot better. So I guess 300 knots should probably be fine. So VOR or COR. Alright, okay. So it looks like you are on a 208 radio or track. So yeah, man, let's look outside. Watch your ears, please. As I said, this is really loud.
shot there. But I mean, come on, man, that sound is just beautiful. Okay, so what's happening with the speed there? So I'm not really sure how to read this. What I mean is we're going full throttle, I think, basically. Let's actually try more full throttle than what I'm requesting now. Is nothing, is not possible. Yeah, so I'm not really too sure about the speed dial there. But small steps. Already figured out now the VOR or the localizer when they are green. That's actually picking up the signal. But actually yellow, I believe, is picking it up, and green is that it's intercepted the course. So if you look ahead, and in a bit we will also have a look at the cabin. So we're at 91 nautical miles. So let's have a look at the flight plan here. So 208. It will take us to Cranbrook, which is Yankee X-ray Charlie 112.1. This is on the nav2 radio, so that means that on the nav1 we can then put in the next one. I'm not sure if this is it. I don't think so. No. Yeah, there you go. So that's this one. Spokane, which is GEG, Golf Echo Golf, which listens to 118.3. And let's see, 118.3. And that will be then 134 nautical miles. And a heading of 192. So let me just write that down. So 192 degrees. And we can check here. .2. Okay, so that's noted, 115.2 and a track of 192 degrees. So now, if we go back into the flight deck here, oh look, speed's finally picking up. It's probably because you're now level flight. So we should also watch out that we're not going to overspeed. And we are above transition altitude, so let's actually, there you go, set it to 299.2. So now we need to watch the speed. Probably in a bit we'll have, well, maybe not in a bit, maybe now. We'll have to reduce our thrust a little bit. So basically I'm figuring out the responsiveness here of the input. Let's just see what this is going to do. And then let's lay in the, how do we get there? Okay, let's just translate over there, that's a lot quicker. So the nav1, we do not need it anymore. At least the 116.7, so we're going to change that to the third VOR, 115.2. 115. Decimal 2. That is laid in. And the course 192 for the nav 1. So this is pre-selected, and in the small box to the left here, you should then see whether that's picked up, yes or no, and it is not. It is displaying, it's receiving DME only for nav2. I think that's what how this can be interpreted. You have DME for nav1, DME for nav2, DME for this one is now using slave to the end to the nav2, and this one is now the nav1, but that's not picking up yet. But it's perfectly fine because that would be crazy long. What this means that we can basically leave this for now. By the time the DME for our current leg reaches close to 0, we hopefully will pick up have picked up the DME for the nav1 radio that we just set, and then probably all we have to do is just switch from nav2 to nav1, so that this light will extinguish and the nav1 light here will illuminate. And since we are in VOR lock mode and on beam, the aircraft should probably just automatically find the or re-establish itself. So let's keep an eye on the speed here. For now, this seems okay. There's actually some mountains there, man. So it might be cool to check the charts here on the sky vector. And we should be, let's have a look. We're 58 nautical miles from our next VOR. So this leg 58, so that's about halfway. I guess it's these mountains, it's like 12,000 feet, 10,000. Well, seems to make sense. Now it would obviously be totally awesome if we would, if we would make it all the way like this, all the way to Seattle. And this is, as far as I know, this is the way they used to do it in the old ways, you know, in the old days, you know. So yeah, that's pretty hardcore, but it works. It's a solid system, you know, as you can see. What's our speed situation? We are slowly still picking up speed, and I believe we were requesting 90% RPM there. It might be a little highish. I believe so, because it is actually still climbing, so it's probably, so that's the thing, I'm not really sure now. Let's see if we put the speed bug right here at our current speed. What will it do? Is it just for us to monitor? I believe that's probably it, just to monitor, but let's see. So it looks like it switched. Let's see. what happens if you select IAS and then it automatically switches back to height. So I guess it's safe to go for a little slower cruise speed. This obviously will affect your fuel flow as well. So let's see if we can get, I don't know, 81 or something. It's then actually dropping, so that's not really what I want as well. So let's go a little further, like 85 or like 88, somewhere in the middle. So I'm checking here what the input does. What's our position? 38 nautical miles. We are not yet picking up the next VOR. So that's where it gets a little bit scary. It's a big word, but if the next VOR is not yet picking up and this reaches 0, then basically all you can, well, but basically you should try to fly an outbound radio or like a back course kind of thing, if I say that correctly. And well, my not very mathematical brain gets very easily confused there. So for now, just going to step back for a little bit. Let's put it on the external view, and I will be right back. There we are again. Just adjusting the sound settings here on my end a little bit. This is seriously loud. Okay, so we're back in the flight deck. And actually volume on my end can go up a little bit more now. It's better. Okay. So, what are we looking at? There's no DME yet here. We are 10 nautical miles. So, we should probably so we could try and set the heading for 192, but you know, there's things like wind. So this is sort of an annoying bit, so 180, 190. Like to line up the camera angles, like just barely, so that you can zoom in far enough to see, but zoom out far enough to actually be able to turn the dials. So now what we'll have to do is one thing that we can do. Oh, look, the speed is actually dropping a little bit there. Let's put in a little more speed. Like 88, something like that. We could now turn to a heading of 192, which should be the radio. I hear something. Oh, we're overhead. Yeah. Okay, so this is the blind zone, because the VOR is pointing straight up, so obviously we're overhead, and then you can see this starts counting up now instead of counting down, because we just passed the VOR. We are not picking up the next VOR yet, so we will start just by going to heading mode. Basically until we pick up the next radio, and I guess we could maybe select the F1, even though that is not picking up anything just yet. We should see that right here. Yeah, so basically we're sort of flying blind from here, but hopefully not too long. Because let's have another look at the flight plan. You can see what I'm talking about. So we now reached this VOR. We were just overhead. We are supposed to follow a track of 192 towards this VOR right here. But since the VOR right here is not picking up yet, we are basically dialing in a heading. But heading only means that the nose of our aircraft will be pointed towards a certain heading, regardless of the tail of the aircraft, if you will. In other words, the aircraft could be, well, maybe not saying that correctly, but the aircraft could be blown to the left or to the right. So you could end up here and then still be heading 192. In that case, you would miss your VOR right there. So I do not really like to do that a lot, but you know, what choice do you have? There might be an option to fly the outbound radial. Not really sure if I'm saying this correctly. 192. Could maybe try that. At least dial it in and see what it does. So now we're flying heading 192, let's just go back and select in F2 there, and then if we change that to 192, then at least we should, well, at least I guess we should see if we're deviating from the track, and that actually seems to be quite okay. So what we're doing now is the aircraft is not flying VOR on the autopilot as such. The autopilot is following the heading request that we made of 192 degrees on the heading bug, but we are using the CDI, the course deviation indicator now, to monitor our drift. And as you can see, we are already starting to drift regardless of, we have not changed the heading bug. We are still flying heading 192, but we are being blown a little bit to the left. So I guess we should now sort of just compensate, and let's see, and then just wait until the DME here starts populating, and then, you know, the lights there will start turning yellow and then green. So we need to go slightly to the right. So I'm just changing the heading bug right there. So I'm not really sure how far to go, you know, like I guess we should actually go a little more. Let's go ahead and do that. But yeah, if we can keep this up all the way to Seattle, then all we have to worry about at some stage is our descent, and then probably by the time we arrive, do some little vectoring, and then we just dial in the ILS frequency for the runway 16 left at Seattle Tacoma, and we just follow the ILS and just do a landing right there. We are still somewhat to the left of the desired track. So I guess this is probably the best solution, right? I mean, if we had not selected the previous VOR here, we could not see what our course is. And you can see actually it's now starting to line up again. So we probably now should get the heading bug in sync, if you will, with the yellow line there. And that's what I mean, that's just a little tedious, just zooming in and out and just getting the right angles. But man, it's such a beautiful aircraft. I mean, it's extremely counterproductive to like zoom out, zoom in, just see, okay, is my shoelace tight? No. And then you go back to your bedroom and then do something else in the dark, and you go back to where it's light. I mean, come on. Okay. So now we are a little to the right, but okay, so we are already 38 nautical miles from our previous VOR. And if we look at flight plan, what we're expecting is a total distance of 134 nautical miles. So either the next VOR is transmitting has a range of like 100 nautical miles, in that case we should be seeing that momentarily, or it's something like 75 or 50 or maybe 25, not really sure. And I don't know if this is something that you can see on the SkyVector website. Obviously this is a real world website, if there's such a word, but you know what I mean, it's real world information. But we are flying in a simulator, so you know we don't know if Microsoft has simulated the exact ranges of all the VORs, obviously. So we won't know that for sure, obviously. But this, in the end, will still, yeah, this seems to work out fine. So we're at 45, so we're already over we're around the 90 or 85 off the top of my head mark. So my next hope would be like at 75 nautical miles we start picking up our next VOR. And I do hope it's coming soon, so we can, you know, we can just accept and rest, you know, until we're getting there. So let's, as I said before, let's have a little look, see if we can go to the cabin. Mike, I will be right back, man. So this is the interior of the Fokker 28. That's cool. Waste no cigarettes. Well, on that note, who am I to argue with logic? Cheers, everybody. Okay, so all kidding aside, let's not open the door right now. But yeah, they simulated some nice functions here. We played the music earlier. Temperature control. It's just the camera moves rather slowly, but well, there you go. It's a little ghost airplane. It's a nice configuration actually, 2 on the left and 3 on the right. Well, rather if you look at it like this then, but... Okay, so let's magically reappear here at the flight deck and see what our situation is. We are still on the 1902 radial, but that's fine. Not sure how much deviation is allowed, you know, before you declare lost. You know, I believe that airways are like, what was it, 8 nautical miles wide? It's quite a lot. But yeah, it is not picking up next VOR yet. Now the speed has picked up a little bit, so I guess the yellow bug is really just for oh yeah, that works with this one as well. Let's see. So we are now, basically we're now going slower than desired, if you will. And if you put it below our current speed, we are going faster than desired. So that seems to make sense. It doesn't matter too much. I like to have it around here. I don't mind following it. Most importantly, we should just make sure the aircraft will not overspeed. In terms of fuel, I guess we are fuel consumption. I guess we are still fine. That looks, I think that looks probably okay. Still in eager anticipation of the DME signal for our next VOR. I believe that was Spokane. So 73 nautical miles from our previous position. On a total leg of 134 nautical miles. Let's look, where are we? It's about a little more, okay, so 134 nautical miles. So 60, yeah, so we should be around here, I guess. Am I saying this correctly? Yeah, sort of. So yeah, I'm hoping for 50, perhaps. And let's start by noting down the next the next course. We will put that into the nav2 radio, but we are now using the nav2 radio for basically for basing our position on a sort of a back course, if that's what you can call it. So the once we reach, I believe it's called Spokane here. Look, let's just zoom in, Spokane International. So that has a frequency of 115.5. What the hell happened there to my screen? 115.5, just noting this down. And then we should make a right turn towards 239 degrees. 239 degrees. For now, just write it down on a little notepad here. But, just so they can enter the information quickly if needed, because we might get to a situation where we need to put it in really quickly. I wouldn't actually be surprised if the VOR is not even operating. You never know. But if that is the case, then hopefully, you know, the next one will pick up. But we'll see. If we get lost, we get lost, and you know, we run out of fuel. In any case, people, you don't have to worry. We will always touch down. You know, so there's nothing to be worried about. So I believe we can all relax in, with having that little piece of information. Let's have another look outside. So I am going to warn you again, because this aircraft is really seriously loud. It's an awesome aircraft, and it has a beautiful sound. So if you like the sound, get ready. So let's switch over, because it's getting seriously loud. I mean, look at it, man, it's just such a beauty. Alright, sorry about that. Some poor camera work there. It's also getting a little bit laggy, of course, when I'm streaming, so sometimes you get these funny jumps. Okay, so now look at this. The total leg is supposed to be 134 nautical miles from VOR to VOR. And we are already at 102 nautical miles from our previous position. Which means that hopefully, what I said earlier, the next VOR will be picked up, because it might have a range of 25 nautical miles or so. Which is, we should find out fairly shortly. If it does not, what we will do is monitor the DME to our previous position closely, and then immediately put in a heading of 239er and dial in 115.5, as I noted down earlier, and we'll just fly over the VOR blind. I'm going to put in a little course correction quickly. We are drifting towards the left a little bit, of the left of the desired track, as you can see on the course deviation indicator. And we did this earlier, and it went pretty well. Just a little correction there. There's not a lot needed, fortunately. And that's the preferred way, if you ask me. If you have to make really big changes, it's very easy to get lost. And So we're waiting for 134 nautical miles. So I do not believe the next frequency is, the next VOR is going to show up. I can really quickly check. Let's see, 115.2. Well, that is actually the correct one. Would it make a difference if I... No, that shouldn't make a difference. Now we selected nav1. But obviously that doesn't make any difference. Now it just switches these two DMEs over. That's exactly what expected. Okay, so let's just go back to nav2 for now then. So at least we know where we are. Let's see the course we are correcting fairly nicely. Maybe a little bit more to the right. Not too much. We won't see this change really quickly, but that's actually precisely what we want. We can tell by this arrow down that we are following, that we are tuned in to the VOR. And in this case it's behind us, so we are flying away from the previous VOR. So 120.8. So let's keep on monitoring this, because I do not think the VOR where we're flying to, Spokane, is going to do anything for us. A real problem could then be if so our next VOR is not working, it's not intercepted, it's not received. If the VOR after that is also not received, I don't know, then my mathematical brain just explodes and gives up. So we got 9 nautical miles to go. We could maybe leave this for now as a reference. So instead of putting it in the nav2 box, we could also maybe put it in nav1 box, because that's not being used now anyway. At least we have some form of measurement, but at some stage we are going to be too far out of range for the for the previous position anyway. So, but I think that is what I'm going to do. That means that in my notes I will have to change the 2 to A1. What's that beeping sound? Okay, that's going to be on the nav1 radio, so 115.5. Let's put that in, 115.5. Is that picking up? Okay, I think this is me getting lost now. 3.6. Oh, we could be overhead. No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, heading 239er. We'll put this in the course. 239er. So we have at least the correct course laid in. So that's basically the least of what we can do. So the aircraft should, if it picks up 115.5 on the nav1 on a course of 239er, it's picking, looks like it's picking it up actually. Let's just see what happens. So we are now on heading in the VLOG mode selector, but we are on the heading. So let's help the aircraft a bit, and so I'm going to overshoot basically a little bit the direction that we are supposed to go, because it looks like the desired radio. I'm not really understanding this. Let's just have a really good look here. If you're flying away from whatever it is that we dialed in, I'm probably just making some really stupid mistakes here. So let's have a look back here. So we were flying this bit, 134 nautical miles. We're flying to Spokane to 11. That's it, 105.5. So now it picks up. Are you kidding me? So I think I noted. Yeah, I definitely noted the wrong. I definitely noted the wrong VOR. Let's see. So, see, is this Moses Lake 115.0? So let's quickly act here. 115.0. Well, that's good news. 115.0. On the nav 1, 115.0. We are on nav 1 here. The course is correct, 239er. Look at that. That is picking up, and this makes a lot more sense. This should be counting down, which it is. So let's now switch to beam, and there you go, 2 greens, and the aircraft is now turning, and it's going to intercept the course on its own. It's following the DME1, which is linked to the nav1 radio. That's the frequency right here. So I'm really happy to see that, because I do not want to get us lost on the flight in this beautiful aircraft. So let's change. This was 115.0. It's just going in my notes. So we can already put in the nav2. So let's do it correctly this time. So while the aircraft is intercepting, the speed is fine. So now let's quickly have a look at the chart again, and just be really cool like Fonzie. So we are on our way from Spokane to, what's the station here actually, Moses Lake, 115.0. After that we will go 239er. It's actually the exact same course. Going to write it down, 239er. We have now put in 115.0 because this is our next location. Once we arrive here, we will start using the nav2 radio, and that will lead us to, what's this called? Echo Lima November, Ellensburg, 117.9er, 117.9er, write it down. Yeah, so this is where the SkyVector website really is super handy. Okay, so sanity check. Holding at 24,000 feet, or flight level 240 if you will. Speed is fine, stable. We are approximately 40 nautical miles from our next position, and we are flying towards it because the arrow now is actually pointing up, so that means we are flying towards the VOR there. So let's dial in the next frequency. That's 117.9, and it goes into the nav2 box. 117.9, and we should already be able to see, if it receives the signal, we should already be able to see it here in the, let's call it like the secondary box, and there you go. We are 82 nautical miles from our position after that. I should actually probably just note these names down as well. so that we do not have to refer to them as the next, the previous, and the next. I mean, if there's anything imprecise, it's that. And let's also have a look at the nav log, because we also should start thinking about our descent at some stage. So, Echo Lima November, we are, so here we go. So that's why these names actually are coming quite handy. Let's see. I believe we should actually probably start descending either now or fairly shortly, so we're almost actually there. We are on this leg. We are on our way to Moses Lake, which is the 115.0. So on our way to Moses Lake. Here, on our way to the Moses Lake. So after Mike Whiskey Hotel, we should start our descent. It's the top of descent, and I might start slightly early, just so you know we do not have to increase the workload while we're later on probably navigating and trying to fly the aircraft. So let's see, what are we looking at now then? We are 20, oh, come on man, so that's the lag that I'm talking about. We are 20 nautical miles from Moses Lake. So I suggest once we reach Moses Lake, we will switch over the nav radios, so that we'll follow so we'll point to the next VOR. After switching over, we will start the descent. And well, as I said, I do not have a lot of experience yet in this aircraft. You know, if you fly the Airbus or the Boeing 737, especially the Airbus, it basically flies itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. I just totally love it. It's such a cool aircraft, man. And all these things it does for you, and things it allows you to do as well. You know, there's a whole lot you can do yourself. You know, you can request if you know how it works. It's amazing. But you know, if you compare those types of aircraft to the Fokker 28. You know, this is just old school, you know, just old school navigating. Probably this is advanced for Amelia Earhart. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that it looks like we're on the course. And then once we start our descent, we will. We're not using Navigraph actually at all today, but we would, well, actually maybe we don't have to. Maybe we can actually use the SkyVector website. I will show you guys in a bit. What's very interesting about the SkyVector website is what I said. As I said, it's like a for real world use, and it has some charts. It has real world charts in there. All we needed for today is to find the ILS frequency for runway 16 left. So once we have that, all we have to do once we arrive at the terminal area, I believe that's what you call it, all we have to do is vector ourselves and then just do an ILS approach and then just land the sucker at Seattle. The approach that we're going to do towards the south is really cool. there are these the bunny lights. They go over the highway. I would just love to either fly over them in real life or just drive under them on a highway, you know. I probably actually just pull over and just look up. It's, hopefully we will be able to see it when we get there. But that's on the, yeah, you'll see that when you're on the approach facing south. That's an interesting thing to look out for. Okay, what are we looking at now? 4.3 nautical miles. 4.4. Ah, look, so we have been talking too long. Let's switch over to the nav2 radio then. I did not lay in the course, so 239er, I should do that. I'm a little bit late here. But not to worry, it will fly the exact radio anyway, because it's picking it up, so there's not too much deviation. Okay, so nav2 radio selected, and let's see what it does now. Let's go back to beam. And as you can see, the course deviation indicator tells us we are to the right of our desired track of 239er towards that VOR. So it's correcting and going a little bit left to intercept the entire radar there. So first, what we'll do before we start our descent, real quick, is find the next 117.9er. That's what we are going for now. So in the nav1 box we should put probably the last VOR, I guess. Stand by 1 second, let's pull it up. So we are now at, I believe it was Moses Lake, so we're now on the stretch here of 48 nautical miles towards Ellensburg. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We are towards Ellensburg, 117.9er. Then, after that, we will fly a heading, or at least a track of 268 degrees. So, quickly writing that down, and then we really should start our descent. This goes into the nav1. So nav1 will be, what was it? It's a 268 degrees. 268 degrees. And that will lead us to the frequency for the VOR that we have to put in. That's basically the airport. So we'll follow that. Once we get close, probably be able to do some visual. Not really sure because we do not have any kind of GPS, so that might be interesting. Is it the game started now? Red Sox at Mariners. Game begins at 2:10 Zulu. Oh, that's in about 20 minutes. Anyway, stay focused, Arkady. Tacoma. This is 119er decimal 9er. Not really sure here. Let me just double check. You know what? Let's not drive ourselves crazy. Just get the nav log here. 116.8. So in the nav1 radio, 116.8, and that's actually our final destination. I will put in the ILS frequency, as I said, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. We should actually just put this in and start our descent now. Let's see, let me switch views for you. There you go. Yeah, let's switch views for me as well. Okay. So in the nav1 goes 116.8. That's laid in. And the heading will be 268 in the nav1 course, 268. You got this, baby. Okay. Is that picking up already, perhaps? Yes, it is. So that's also really good to know. Right, man, let's start our descent then.
I'm not sure about the terrain ahead though. Let's start with, you know what, let's just wait for 1 second to just quickly check the chart, or the map actually I should say in this case. Let's see. Four 045 7298 6579. So if we were to really follow the magenta line here, I guess we should be fine if we actually go. Let's just start by 10,000 feet. So let's do that. Geronimo, hope we'll be fine with 10,000 feet. And yeah, I'm not too experienced yet with this aircraft, so not really sure how descents go to work out. If we now back on the power, not sure if we should go fully idle. I believe you can. There is an option. You can hear the gear klaxon warning. You can mute it. There you go. And if we now do, can we do IAS for a descent? Let's have a look. There you go, nose down. So maybe we should actually just go all the way idle or near to idle. But just keep on monitoring the speed. So is that mountains, hills? Looks like it. It seemed closer than 4,000 that I saw, but you know, we are using more like traditional navigation, so I'm not really sure. 10,000 feet, we are at 23. Let's keep an eye on that. What is our speed? As long as we're not picking up speed, I'm happy. Let's put the heading back there. Will be slightly easier to see the any kind of deviation there. And we can also check here. We are faster than the bug is, so we can also see if this is starting to drop. We're 81 nautical miles from Seattle and 3 nautical miles, so this means we're basically overhead. There you go, you were in the dead zone. So let's switch over to nav 1, and that's a course of 268. And we select beam, and we are intercepted, and there you see the aircraft is turning. So navigation wise we're good. Also means that we're at least clear of those mountains there, unless there's like a Kilimanjaro all of a sudden in the front of us here, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's check here in terms of terrain. I don't know, man. What's our speed doing? Still a little faster than the heading bug, or the speed bug, but not really picking up. Can we go full idle? Not really sure if you're allowed in this aircraft. I know it's not super uncommon or anything to go idle and descend. Oh, check it out, man. Beautiful. Okay, so enough pussyfooting. We are aiming for 10,000 feet. We are descending. Let's get the charts for 16 left approach, and let's use Sky Vector for that purpose. Go to Seattle, click it, here you have the airport diagram, and we're looking for ILS or localizer runway 16 left. I'm not really sure if this will show on your end. I don't think it will. Just monitoring here on my phone. Oh, it is. That's lovely. Okay. Basically, what we need to know. I'm not going to worry about the entire approach there, but I do want to know the glide slope. Zoom in, please. So the glide slope looks like starts at 1900. Let's go for 1900. We should not forget to set our altimeter. So 1900 feet, and the frequency for the ILS is 116 decimal. No, that is not. Wait a minute. The localizer. Here you go. Localizer is 110.3. So ILS 16 left, 110.3. What's the heading? It's a slightly different chart than the one that I'm used to from Navigraph. 164. 164 degrees. Okay, so 110.3, 164 degrees. Alright, that's all that I needed to know. Our speed is still constant. I think we're doing fine. We're 58 nautical miles from Seattle. 116.8. So the mountain's doing. Yeah, I'm going to. Does this work? The altitude hold? Oh, we're actually at 10,000 feet. So we're just going right over these mountains here. Now by the time now, so we should put in some power because we are powerless since we were on idle. Okay, so 10,000 feet. Let's look up ahead there. Looks really close, man. We might have descended a little too early. Let's keep an eye on it. Curious what's going to happen. We are straight on the track to the middle of the airport, if you will. Setting the altimeter, or at least local here. That's bringing us in nose opposition, so that's good news. There is some clouds. That is not super good news. I'm gonna climb for 12,000. And then I believe it's IAS, and I guess we will be needing like at least 80% RPM. We definitely need to outclimb these mountains there, especially when you know, there's these clouds coming. It should be fine, I guess. Let's see, are we climbing? We're not climbing. Let's have a really good look here. How do we get this sucker to climb again? Pitch. Will that? What is pitch? Like a pitch hold? Okay, let's disengage pitch. No, it won't. Okay, so go to IS. And we pitch up manually a little bit.
this. Power starts to complain. If it press pitch, will that then hold the pitch or no? In any case, I'm going to add a lot more power. We're basically at toga speed or toga settings, so basically like full thrust. IC tech, that's not too big of a surprise. Now let's just wait this out a little bit. We are still climbing. Speed is fine-ish. We're 42 nautical miles, so there is still some time. Did we put in the ILS? We did not. We are on nav 1. So in the nav 2 box we can put in the ILS frequency. That's 110.3. That is rated, and the course, approach course 164. Oh, let's see, other way. Okay, so the ILS course has been set up, and the frequency as well. These mountains are getting a little lower, so that's good news. We're now at 12,000 feet and holding. We're still following the Seattle VOR. We do a little sanity check here, so we are on nav 1, 116.8. Quickly doing this off the screen here for a bit. Stand by, please. Just to confirm. We're not getting... Oh shit. Oh, something's happening. What is happening? Overspeed. Ooh, that's bad. Oh shit. Oh, that's such a shame, man. Oh, that I'm so fucking bummed. You overstress the aircraft and cause critical damage. Oh, that is such a shame. We're almost on top of things. But then we got a little too literally on top of things. Well, such is life. If you ask me, it was a very interesting learning experience. I feel like I should get the hang of this aircraft. Well, I'm getting getting a little bit more of a hang, but it's definitely. Yeah, I was off screen. I wasn't looking, and apparently we were overspeeding, which makes sense if you think back, because we were. Full throttle because we wanted to climb, and then the aircraft leveled out at 12,000 feet, but it was still on full throttle, so it's just going faster and faster, and then it starts beeping at you. And if you ask me, I was fairly quick to get back into the cockpit, but yeah, maybe next time start by immediately engaging the air brakes, the speed brakes, and then throttling back. Because what I did now was just throttle back, but the response it responds quite slowly. So that's not the most efficient way to brake in an emergency kind of situation. Like thinking back of what happened. So I probably next time should immediately hit the speed brakes. That's a real shame. But anyway, as I said earlier, such is life. So what you can do. I have a guitar here and just play one really sad, depressing chord. So we crashed, we overstressed the aircraft. Everybody inside is now dead. We were just trying to have some fun. But it all just seemed to turn out bad. Now we're gone. There is no more life in this aircraft. Alright, and then just a little happy tune. Alright, man.
about that. Thanks for checking. It's it's quite an abrupt ending to the stream, but that's it. Hopefully see you sometime soon. This will be on the channel. Everybody can see that we crashed. It's also interesting. Yeah, everybody stay funky and see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.